And we're off with the picks and bans. These teams just went through a pick and ban phase and had a small error and had to start over. So we're going to be going through this really quickly. So we're starting off the bans on the blue team with Kalista, Aatrox, Blitzcrank. You can see they're blocking out these hard engages and safe picks. And on the purple team, you can see they're blocking out Rumble, Cassiopeia, Urgot. These first two picks have some really high AP damage and group CC. And Urgot is just kind of a swing pick that most people don't really want to deal with. So you can see what they don't want and what they do want immediately. Blue team locking in that Jarvan and Morgana and Ezreal, really getting that poke in and Jarvan for the hard engage. And the purple team responding with Volibear, Graves, Ziggs and Zyra. The kind of power in this team with their late game ultimates, they'll be able to actually start dominating from the mid game when Volibear hits his stride. If they can force some team fights and make it go their way, they can tear apart the enemy team using that Volibear to just engage on the fights and be such a tanky wall that they can't stop him. Line up the Zyra ults, line up the Ziggs ults and decimate the entire team. But they have that Ezreal pick which is harder to lock down, so that's a good pick for the blue team to stay out of this blow up zone, as it were. And we have that other hard engage pick with Hecarim, and the one pick that will just destroy a single person. Select one champion and destroy them. You can see that Syndra coming right in. And there's Nasus. So on the purple team, analyze again, we have two big tanky champions in Nasus and Volibear. They can just run right up into the front lines and make menaces of themselves. And once they get the enemy into the position they want, they can just land that Zyra ult, get the knockup right into the Ziggs ult, and Graves can lay down that collateral damage all over the faces of the enemy team. If it lands perfectly, or even lands semi-perfectly, it will be huge damage towards at least 3 members of the blue team. So they have to look out for that. It will be a very dangerous combo for them. But the blue team also has their own very dangerous combos. The Morgana pick is an excellent pick to counter the Volibear and Nasus when those two want to go in, and Morgana uses those dark bindings, those chains. They can really stop the advance of the purple team, because for all their tankiness, they don't have much by way of initiation, by gap closing initiation. They have to walk up, they have to cross that distance in normal movement speed. So Morgana is a very good pick there, and Jarvan with the Cataclysm can also lock down the enemy team. And you can see that Hecarim pick with the teleport, so that Hecarim is most likely going to be in the top lane. Hecarim with that teleport will be able to come down to any team fight and jump right into the back line, so that threatens Howdah, who should have been safe behind the big tanky walls of Nasus and Volibear, and now has to contend with that Hecarim who can dive right into the back, fear him and cut him down at a moment's notice, while Ezreal still remains mostly safe as long as he can land that poke and stay out of the CC range of the purple team. Syndra, as we said, it's a pick that can just select one person on the enemy team and destroy them. She'll have a bit of a harder job now with the Volibear and the Nasus on that purple team, but if she gets a pick on the Graves or on the Ziggs, she can take out a crucial damage dealer for the purple team right at the beginning of the fight and swing it in their favor. So that's something that the purple team really has to watch out for. I would say that Nasus or Volibear might be going straight for that Syndra to get rid of her, along with trying to handle and counter the Hecarim engages. But we'll have to see what happens there. But overall, it's looking out to be a good fight. Let's take a... One moment, please.
Carter, don't you get rid of the splitter?
Right. Alright, so yes, I'm back. So we're 18 seconds in before the loading screen. Let's take a quick look at the summoner spells of each team. The blue team, they're running 1 exhaust, 2 ignites as their secondary summoner spells. They're looking more to get that true damage, to kill the enemy instead of surviving, while the purple team is running a lot more exhausts and heals. And I think I saw a barrier there. We'll have to wait a few seconds to confirm it. But that seems like they're going more on the defensive side, more on wanting to stay alive. And that matches up with their picks of Nasus and Volibear, being able to get those big tanky champions and keep them alive throughout the fight. That'll just multiply the effect of their health, multiply the effect of the resistances they might build, and it'll just be a terror to deal with overall. So we're loading into the game right now. Let's see who has the skin advantage here. It looks like they're actually completely matched. Every member of the team bringing out their best skins to show. The battle is hot, even from the loading screen, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be hot. We're loading into the game right now. Setting up to be a hot one. I hope. Okay, it's fine now. See those champions coming down onto the new rift. The beta is over and it looks really nice now. I have to commend Riot, honestly. On the red side we have EMP Get Rekt, and on the blue side we have Team 4can. Both teams heading out immediately as soon as the gates fall. They know where they want to be and they're heading right there for it. No hesitation. So the red team gathering down by the blue golem. They might go for a deep ward there. Let's see what happens. The Volibear actually down here to support the team. While the blue team seems to be more interested in protecting that bot lane and not getting engaged on. Looks like Jarvan might start at those crumps. They're not really doing much here. They prefer to do it safe, not going for that cheese on any side. The respect is palpable. They don't want to be giving up the match at this early stage. So it looks like we're going to be having those standard lanes. They haven't opted for a lane swap, which is very interesting. So we're going to see a Morgana Israel bot lane with Graves Zyra bot lane. It's a very interesting choice. I think it might lead a bit more in the favor of the Morgana Israel bot lane. Israel does have that skittishness that he can escape attacks, and if Morgana is on point with her dark bindings, Zyra won't be able to land a root, and they can just poke and poke and poke and stay out of damage range. While on the other hand, Morgana with the dark bindings is something very difficult for the red team to deal with. So we'll see what happens here, but right now I give the edge to the blue team bot lane.
Well, while it's true that the blue team bot lane has good poke, especially when they catch a Morgana binding, if Zara lands even one root with the massive burst from Graves, dash, auto attack, and his buckshot, that damage is going to even up basically immediately.
This is a very good point as well, but that depends on how on point they are. And there, the damage landing immediately, and you can see how the buckshot just tore into Ezreal. So Graves making his presence known there. Even with the dark binding, he is no pansy.
Hecarim here bullying Nasus in the top lane, trying to stop him from farming up his for late. Doing a good job.
Keeping that farm though. And Nasus still does have 15 farm compared to Hecarim 16. So it's not that big of a disparity right now.
And he evens up the damage with one Wither auto attack Q.
You can see Volibear just camping out there in that top lane, in that top bush. If Hecarim strays a bit too close, that Wither flip will be dangerous, and the root lands on Ezreal, hitting some big damage and a little bit of extra from that root. And Volibear comes out. Hecarim has extended a bit too far with the Wither on him. Will he be able to escape? There's the flash, and the slow is going to come down any second now.
Can they close it out? Do they have the damage?
Oh, it looks
Can
like
they catch him in time? He might get away.
Nasus is out of mana, and even if that Wither comes back up, he might not be able to.
Is this the kill? Nay, it's not!
And the flash burn to try and get that kill, but unable to land that last bit of damage. An almost dangerous play for Nasus. All in all, a very good gank for Hecarim, as the enemy Nasus lost his lane, and here comes the fight in mid.
Volibear going on the Syndra, lands the Q, chasing her down to the river. He runs into the red side jungle. I don't know if she can get away. She's running top. Is Nasus going to come down to intercept?
Do see Jarvan.
And that's the first blood going over to Ziggs.
First blood in the red team's favor. Everything's coming up Ziggs. You better watch out for those bouncing bombs. Alright, so sorry, things have calmed down for a second. Let's take a look at the itemization and CS here. With Graves with 35 CS, is a whole 10 CS in fact in front of the enemy Ezreal. And it looks like that's going to pay off for him in the end. He's going to go back and get even more items than Ezreal. Ezreal has gone back, he's picked himself up a tier and a pot. So, seems to be getting some mana for that early game. Think he'll be going for a mana mule?
Yeah, it's probably a throwback to Ezreal from older seasons.
Older seasons, that was like last season.
That's older now.
True enough, true enough.
Some more action going on here in top lane. Are they going for a full-on fight? No, just trading somewhere else.
Looks like Hecarim is actually managing that bully a bit more effectively now, entire one level ahead of Nasus in that lane. It could be dangerous for Nasus. Hecarim just landed 6. Let's see what happens. But right now it's back down into the bot lane.
We see Jarvan coming around here for a gank, and Volibear showing up bot too. Some action might be happening here soon. Both junglers seeing each other in the river. Volibear chasing Jarvan back into his jungle.
Be very dangerous if one of them get caught out here. But Hecarim's surprise is ruined. It looks like he was stood on top of a ward anyway. So they managed to spot him out before any damage was really done.
Hecarim managing to stay really even here in top with just boots compared to Nasus's Glacial Shroud, which is impressive.
Amazing. It's actually amazing. Hecarim's doing really well with that farm. It's whole 52 farm to Nasus's 35. So you can see why he has those levels and why it's been so... You can see the effectiveness at stopping Nasus from being able to farm in that creep score.
course, this Nasus is basically just a ticking time bomb here. If he manages to farm that Q up even for just 15 minutes without Hecarim taking some serious advantages in exchange, then late game, this is not going to pay off for them.
Well, they just have to make it pay off into the mid and early game. Zyra coming back down bot. They seem to be trying to get that blue. Ends up on Ziggs, I believe. Hecarim with the big harass. Nasus is just 2 lifesteal Qs away from getting that health back up.
Back on atomization here, Syndra seems to be building a Rod of Ages based on her items. And based on her biscuit, seems like she went into the support branch. I wonder if she's looking for that cooldown to land a lot of orbs in a fight. Hecarim landing some damage on Nasus. Is he looking to die?
Well, let's see. There's the black shield I was talking about. Even with Zyra's big damage, if Morgana can land those black shields, it'll all amount to naught. You can really see the difference in damage between Ezreal and Graves in the bot lane now, though. So Ezreal opted for that blue. Even his Qs landing directly aren't much of a nuisance, but Graves with that best friend sword can really show him what's what.
Hecarim getting some sustain with his W. Power farming the lane. Zyra lands the root and the ult. Nope. Zyra landing some Graves. Ed splashes out. Can they catch up? Exhaust going down on Graves. Morgana ult goes off. Ezreal ult lands over Graves and Zyra. Morgana manages to pick up the kill. Teleport coming in here top from Hecarim. They're chasing down Zyra, but she might get away. Looks like she's safe.
That's a very good counter from the blue team. You can see Zyra actually engaged on that fight and it just did not pay off. Ezreal being able to essence flux right out of the fight and land his ultimate from far away just did not pay off for the red team, and they've managed to even up that score finally with 1 kill on Morgana.
And even though Hecarim blew his teleport on that fight, the fight happened without him. That was just Ezreal and Morgana outplaying the enemy lane.
So kind of a wasted teleport from Hecarim, though just showing that bot lane presence is worth something. Handing that blue over to Syndra will help her immensely in that mid lane, keeping up with Ziggs.
Especially since he opted for that chalice, keeping his mana topped up.
See, Ziggs has gone back and he's picked himself up a book. Oh, he's actually gone straight up to Athene's Unholy Grail.
And the boots.
And the boots. That'll be very good for him in lane. Syndra might have a hard time if she doesn't go back and complete some items herself.
Taking a look at the junglers here, we see Volibear with a completely upgraded jungler item, and Jarvan here
Organize this.
with his tier 2 item and a ruby crystal. No boots or defenses on either of them to speak of. Landing some damage on Nasus, but he's not going in, just landing some harass. And really, the damage Hecarim is landing here with just... Well, he has a Phage now, but this is a Nasus with Warden's Mail and Glacial Shroud. The amount of damage he's taking from these auto attacks and these Qs is really astounding.
Things coming out. Red team shaping up for that Baron. Dragon, sorry. The ward's going down. You can see a blue ward in the Dragon Pit as well. Blue team not wanting to give that one up so easily. Though Nasus does still have his teleport while Hecarim still has half the cooldown left. If they do decide to go for that dragon, the red team will have the assistance that the blue team does not.
Well, that's if Nasus can get his teleport off interrupted. Hecarim can break the teleport.
That's true.
If Nasus does this in a bad location. And there's always a chance that he'll just take the entire top tower if he leaves it unattended. Not a great trade for a dragon, but not bad. You have 4 people turning up here, bot going for the gank. They take out Morgana with nobody going down. This might be a setup for a dragon here.
Hardly any damage on them either. Just the one Ezreal ultimate and the start of Morgana's.
Yep, it's a 4-man rotate here to Dragon. Putting all the super clearing the wards while Ziggs starts damaging it.
Jarvan is alive. He might be able to steal this one with a smite. But again, Hecarim does not have his teleport. They will not be able to bring the whole 4 members of the team into this fight if they so desire. Jarvan going in, but getting caught and blown up for nothing.
And the Dragon goes over to Red Team anyway, giving him 300 extra gold for no reason.
So that's a 1-3 in Red Team's favor.
Hate to see this kind of thing happen.
Get Rekt M5 showing that they do know objective control. EMP Get Rekt, my bad.
Hecarim here showing he's not afraid of the tower at all, walking up to land these Qs in turret range, and just walking back out to farm some more.
Huge disrespect for the tower.
And honestly, one really has to question, how is he doing this with just a Phage boots and a blue rock? This is
quite frankly blowing my mind.
That's why these guys are in losers finals, guys. They know the secrets.
Wouldn't they be in winners finals if that was the case?
Well, let's not look too deeply.
Karim keeping that rampage up.
Draven here showing up for a counter gank on mid, but misses his flag and just walks back off.
Mid laners trading a little bit of damage. That last bouncing bomb evening it up for Ziggs.
Hecarim here going back top. His teleport is back. Is he just going to use it to get back to farm, or no, he's just walking back, saving it in case any objectives come up?
I believe that's a smart move. Tensions in bot lane are rising. Syndra has completed that Rod of Ages, and Morgana and Ezreal have started getting their items. You can see that Manamune finished on Ezreal.
And Sheen started.
And Sheen started.
Graves are working towards his IE. No attack speed items, but he's packing a lot of just flat attack damage here. These buckshots on auto attacks are going to hurt, and with his quick draw boosting his attack speed, he might be able to delay the item a bit. Just one bullet from the buckshot there, as we're losing almost 100 health.
It's amazing. Hecarim showing complete disrespect for Nasus. Going right in on the Curator of the Sands.
But this is a Nasus with 98 farm at 15 minutes, and these are all stacks on his Qs, and this disrespect means nothing because in about 10 minutes the base is going to drop, and that's the end of the game, most likely.
The base is going to drop, and then the base is going to drop.
Well said.
I'm stupid. So he's actually getting that Q farm now. He's unable to bully him away from those minions. So Hecarim instead choosing to roam. Will they get a... No, Volibear actually managed to get the Rift Scuttler there. So that's a good 60 damage going on to him. Syndra grabbing
going on Ziggs. Ziggs managed to land the E, but it isn't enough to save him. He gets hit by a Syndra Q on the way out. You see a fight here breaking out bot lane. Volibear looks for a target and decides to just back off.
But Hecarim is flanking. He's coming down at full speed along with Syndra. Volibear has having to use that charge to get away and the flash to stop the slow.
And Nasus here has decided to just stay top and continue to farm.
It's a very dangerous position for Forcan to be allowing. So we're going to have a 3-man push on this bot lane turret. Forcan really trying to get it down.
And Ezreal Q landing a lot of damage on Zara. And when he picks up his Sheen, it's only going to increase. Ooh. Nasus lands some good damage on the tower. He decides to just back off on the Tekker and take the wave. Is he going to go back?
Oh no, Ezreal! Oh no! Oh no, scream!
Technical issues. Unfortunately, we entirely missed that fight, but
Pretty much
massive damage coming out from Graves and Zara managed to kill Ezreal. Essentially uncontested, as Morgana wasn't even in the lane at the time.
Don't shot before you drop, ladies and gentlemen. A rookie error right there.
Looks like they're able to finish off this tower before the wave goes down. Yep. First tower of the game going over to Get Rekt. Hecarim here going in on Zeke is going for the tower dive. No, he backs off after one hit. Zeke's ult landing. Volibear coming up for the chase. Are they gonna? No. Volibear backs off.
It's gonna bully him away from the tower. Say, stay away from my bombardier.
So while it seems the team is rotating here to put some pressure on mid, Hecarim is again just allowing Nasus to farm top.
This is 1 minute left on the dragon. See what they're actually prioritizing here. But no, Hecarim is actually just going back. See what they're doing. The blue team rotating top, the ping coming out into the top jungle.
Well, with all the teleports up, going back isn't a huge issue for Hecarim, but it seems Nasus is going to take the up, takes the top tower with a Q and just backs off.
Curator of the Sands packing away the books.
And we see Graves here with 20 farm more than Ezreal, finishing up his IE and having a Zeal. Wonder if he's going Shiv or Phantom Dancer. Ezreal has picked up his Sheen, has boots, and has a cloth armor. Maybe he's going for Iceborne Gauntlet instead of a Trinity Force.
15 seconds on that dragon, and the red team is actually in a very good position for it here. The blue team is kind of scattered around. Let's see if EMP Get Rekt will show their dominance in objective control once again. Volibear does seem to be going back, so they might not be taking it immediately.
Of course, no teams have any wards directly on the dragon, so it's unsure if blue team even has an exact timer on when it went down.
But the pings are coming down right now, so they are aware that the dragon is potentially up, or that the red team might be going for it. But nobody's actually moving to monitor the dragon, while the red team has started Graves and Zyra
Okay, we
down
see
there.
Ezreal and Morgana coming in. The blue trinket landing some vision. Volibear shows up. The smite control is there. Can they steal this? Nope. Graves gets the kill. Volibear goes in, lands the Q on Jarvan, who flashes back over the wall. Six lands some poke, but the blue team just decides to abandon the fight. The Dragon Gone, there's no reason to contest an energy pit.
The Baron coming up, the first Baron of the game. Let's see if the teams will try and jockey for that one. It'd be a dangerous Baron to be sure, but well worth it.
I see Nasus here with the entire Frozen Heart, still somehow eating tons of damage from this Hecarim.
Well, he does have the Trinity Force. You know what Freak says about that. Yes, thank you.
Hecarim seems to be back to top lane to farm up, having lost his first top tower and deciding to hold the line here in the lane.
Nasus actually finishing those Mercury Shreds while Hecarim is just on brown boots. That might be his death right now.
He lands the Q on Hecarim and the slow Hecarim ults out. Is it enough? The Wither is down. The smite comes out from Volibear. Landing the auto attacks. The E. Is the Q or another Wither going to come up? Or is this enough? The massive damage from that Nasus Q. They flash for it and he finishes it with a Q.
Our binding comes out and Morgana is going ham.
Zyra shows up though. Can they turn this around? Yes, that's a dead Morgana. Caesar shows up to try and make a difference. Jarvan shows up as well, but it's too little too late. Can they finish them off? No, they settle for some damage and back off. Graves here going in on Ezreal bot lane, and with no tower for Ez to run to. Is he gonna go down? It looks like it, yes. That's a kill for Howda on Graves here. Volibear going ham, chasing that Syndra, forcing Jarvan back behind his base walls. The first mid tower isn't even down here, folks. The sheer map control the red team is putting out is impressive.
And we can see it being reflected in that global gold lead with a full, with a full 5,000 gold lead, especially with that global gold from the turret just now. So some really good position, as well with the two dragons on EMP Get Rekt. Forcan will have a lot to make up for.
Team rotating mid, going to say massive damage on this tower. That Nasus Q just absolutely chunking it. They get pushed off by a single Q. But another wave shows up. Are they gonna go for it? No, so they decide to just let them farm the wave in response and ease off.
The retreat pings coming out, they don't want to be flanked, so instead choose to go back, get items, and fight later.
Of course, with the red team having a solid lead here, that's a smart plan. Make yourself unable to lose before you look to win.
Sun Tzu.
Blue team here stacking up mid, looking like they're going to take a tower in response, would be their first tower of the game.
Wow, first tower of the game at this late.
Graves manages to just wipe the wave back clear with his Q. And is he going back? No, he decided to stick around mid.
That's an infinity edge bug shot, ladies and gents.
And another, the first red tower goes down here. It seems to be top lane thanks to the Hecarim Nasus laying on top. Hecarim with 200 farm here at 23 minutes, having the most in the game, having completed Trinity Force, Merc Treads, and has picked up a longsword. Rotating down here mid, full stack for the blue team. Are they going to try and force the tower with the next wave, or?
Oh, we're seeing the recalls coming out, so it's like they're going to go back and buy as well. Protect those lanes and push them in. Jarvan getting a little bit of farm there. See Volibear picking up the Warmongs. Ezreal finally completing that frozen fist.
Seems like Forcan here is just trying to farm up a bit in the mid game, trying to get himself back onto even footing with the red team. I don't know if the goal difference is enough if they can just farm up back to be relevant, especially with that Nasus continuing to just grow into an absolute monster top.
Might be a bit of a misplay here aiming for the late game with that Nasus in the game.
I mean, we have to keep in mind that all these fights and objectives that Get Rekt has been winning, they have been without Nasus. Hecarim has been showing up, but it has not been enough to make a difference even 4v5.
While you fight dragons, Nasus is farming. While you take towers, Nasus is farming. Beware.
Like another blue of the game here going over to Syndra.
The dragon coming up in just 40 seconds.
Things coming out from Get Rekt here. They're aware of the timer. They have a pink ward down in the pit, so they're aware that Forcan has their own ward there. They're gonna rotate down to start clearing out the area. Yeah, it seems to be a slow push towards it.
It's like EMP Get Rekt focusing a bit more on that map control, objective control. We can see 3 sweepers on their team, while only 2 on Forcan, instead having that third non-yellow trinket as the blue trinket. An interesting choice of Hecarim going ham on that Zera.
Almost get Zyra, but no! Hecarim tries to run out, dies, still grabs collateral damage. They go in hard. Ziggs ult lands on the entire enemy team. They pick up a kill on Jarvan with Graves there. Dragon spawns, the entire red team is up and they go for it. Team members out there for Forcan, are they really going to go for it?
Will they be able to go for a steal there? With Jarvan down and Hecarim down, they won't be able to try and steal that dragon.
And massive damage over the wall, but it's not enough to deter the red team. And they rotate here, mid here, looking for another tower of the game, and I think they might get it.
So that tower is going to go down. They have 2 big tanky frontliners that they could just tank up those turret shots if they wanted, and nobody in the blue team could stop them.
Yeah.
That was a dead tower.
When we look at these builds here, we see Nasus has gone full tank with a Spirit Visage, boosting his natural lifesteal, and a Frozen Heart here. And Wally has picked up a Warmog's cotton shirt and a chain vest.
The blue team does manage to pick up a tower in exchange in the bot lane, thanks to Winions. Go Winions.
But it's just going to turn into more gold here for Graves, having finished up his IE, the Phantom Dancer, and presumably going for that lifesteal next.
Howda on Graves actually overtaking Hecarim in his space of top farmer, and just getting beefier and beefier, picking up a pickaxe, a Doran's blade, and a longsword. This will be a very dangerous Graves we see next time.
Seems like he's eschewing that lifesteal in favor for a Last Whisper. Not entirely sure why. Nobody's really building much armor yet on Forcan, but maybe he's looking ahead.
Well, they do get a little bit of a bonus from that Jarvan flag, but it's not really that much. The Last Whisper is a core build, and it's good to have it before you need it.
This is true.
I've been informed that the flag armor is gone. I thought of that.
Yeah, that's the passive armor from the flag. You can still throw it down to give some armor to everybody there. Oh, I'm being told that's gone as well, folks. That's... One has to wonder what exactly that flag does for morale now, honestly.
Well, it is nice to look at. And Jarvan sure likes jumping when it's around.
I don't know, I'm just used to higher standards.
Yeah, I'm done.
We have blue team here. Ezreal throwing out that ult mid. Volibear Qs and goes in and just backs off. Team is jockeying for position here, 4v4 in the mid lane. That first mid tower has yet to go down for the red team.
28 minutes in, and both teams are still not showing a huge dominance over each other. Red team is controlling those objectives, but the fights can go anyone's way right now.
The difference, however, is that blue team is much quicker, as we're seeing here, as Utter Chaos. Jarvan somehow ends up in the exact middle of the enemy team, thanks to a Volibear Q, gets blown up. Morgana has to run without even landing a mass ult. Syndra here forced to flee. Hecarim stuck top, just trying to fend off the Nasus and failing.
That's
and it looks like the
2 kills for
second
0.
turret going down here for the red team. Yeah, it's a 2 for 0 exchange here, and they're rotating top team that they're going to try and force the top lane. Oh, and they pick up Hecarim. They die for it, but they back off. Can they take it? Yes, they can. A massive advantage here, and they push for the inhib.
He's just doing huge damage with every attack, and Nasus blown up in his ult state. Here comes Hecarim in, charging to the fray, and the Ezreal ult taking out Graves from downtown. Hecarim will not let this one lie, however, and is going for that Zyra, landing the Q right before to get that extra damage, but he can't keep up. Morgana's alone now with the enemy team, but Jarvan coming in with the flag does get the knockup and is landing that huge damage. The Dark Binding holding Volibear in place and pinning him down.
But as much as blue team managed to turn that fight around, collecting a 3-for-1 exchange, they did lose their top tower and the inhibitor, so they might be trying to go for a Baron here. Not a lot of time left before Nasus comes up, and he does have a teleport, clearing out the ward in the pit, but Ziggs is around.
A very good Baron for the blue team, a much needed one, but with that Ziggs there, it's very dangerous. Instead, they cannot.
The massive damage from Ziggs landing that ult, just forcing him to back off or die to Baron.
Immediately.
And we see red team pinging to go for the Baron. Are they going to try and take it in response, or just are they checking? No. Seems they're just going to let it lie. But the gold lead has grown to 7,000 in favor of EMP Get Rekt here. This is along with a dragon lead of 3 and 4 towers ahead of Forcan. This is a serious advantage here, folks.
Nasus with that sheen, finally becoming that super monster that everyone so fears in the late game.
Yeah, this is Nasus with his first damage item of the game here at half an hour in.
Let's take a look at what that Q farm is like right now. Gone all the way up to 540 damage on augmented. That Nasus will be hitting like a rift truck.
That is a straight burst of over 1,000 damage every 3 seconds here, folks. That's not humane.
Don't make the librarian angry. You don't like it when he's angry.
Don't mess with the dog, man. Much farm, such damage. Wow.
I'm done.
Red team here going for the 4th dragon of the game here. That's the extra damage to minions and towers. They're gonna take it uncontested, yep. And they back off. A ping goes down on Baron, but I don't think they're gonna go for it.
4th dragon of the game, very huge for the red team. They're finally getting that plus 15 damage to minions and monsters. That will make the push so much easier and so much harder for blue team to resist. without that tanky front line, they can't really jump in and do what they need to do. Jarvan going into the back line and getting blown up immediately, and Hecarim not really being able to hang around in these fights for a long time. Nasus and Volibear doing their job splendidly, and looks like the red team will go for that Baron.
Yeah, they grab the Scuttler and hide in the bush to see if they can bait 4can into it, but they don't show up and decide, hey, let's see if we can just take this Baron before they get there.
That Baron going down super quickly.
Damage is insane. Baron, what Baron? It goes down uncontested with almost no damage here on Get Rekt.
And Nasus just continuing with that farm. He doesn't need to be in these fights. He just wants some extra farm so he can blow people up better. Take a look at these mid laners here. We have 3 kills on the Ziggs. He does have the hat and the Grail, and another needlessly large rod building up that might turn into another big heavy AP damage item for him. While Syndra going more for that health with the Rod of Ages and the Void Staff, getting that penetration she needs to do the damage.
Here going for Zanya next. You see Graves here with his Last Whisper and a Cutlass going for a Bork for some more attack speed and the lifesteal he needs.
Take a look at Zara's itemization. That's a Ryze's Crystal Scepter as her biggest item. That's her only real full completed item with a Sightstone and a Haunting Guise.
But we also see her,
items.
yeah, we see her building that Haunting Guise. That's a support that has hit her stride, folks. That's scary. When support is building damage, it has not been a good game for you.
Make an excellent point. Zara does manage to complete that Leandre's. We'll be seeing a lot of burn damage coming down and the teleport coming in from Nasus. Finally joining
here. Nasus shows up and lands 1 tower Q, half its damage gone as they're going in. You know, they decided to scare them off.
Hecarim coming in from the back, diving in on the enemy team, trying to get that Ziggs. But Ziggs does manage to flash over the wall and get away. Zara blowing that ultimate to keep Hecarim away. But here comes Volibear taking out the Jarvan, rushing in without a care in the world. Just look at me, I'm a Volibear.
Red team takes nobody, rotates top, gets that original in making their second right now, and they just shove in with banged up minions before the Nexus towers. This looks like it might be the game shot of a miracle here for the blue team, folks, and 4 can pull out a miracle.
They're desperately trying it, but they cannot get on that Graves and on that Nasus, and that is the end of the game. GG, EMP Get Rekt.
4can can't.